All right. Well, let's get rolling here. Welcome, everyone, to The Banya, the only podcast brought to you from a hot sauna. Yeah, we got, of course, Luke Manuel with me and our guest, Chad Wardlaw. Chad is a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, living out in Sacramento, one of my closest friends since we were a kid. So, what's up, Chad? How you doing?
Good. Just to clarify, I live in Sacramento, but I'm in Arizona.
All right.
He's a wildcat.
Yeah. That's right. You got to make it very clear he's from Arizona.
I make it very clear to everyone I meet because I'm in Arizona.
Yeah.
Living in California.
Okay.
Northern California is all right, though, man.
Yeah, Northern California is good. Yeah.
You're not in the Bay or L.A.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah.
All right, give us a little temperature read there. What do we got? What are we working with here?
150.
150. All right, we can fix that. Go ahead and give us a little bit of water on the rocks.
Yeah, you control the temp of the water on the rocks. Let's hit that.
Let's get this baby cooking.
Key?
Yeah, baby, we're on those rocks. That round rock is from the Yuba River. You ever go and visit the Yuba River?
No.
Oh, you should take the kids up to South Fork.
South
Yuba
Fork?
River. Yeah. Well, actually, I'm sorry. No, your kids are a little bit young for it. It's a scary river.
Yeah.
It's like boulders, big granite, super clear, beautiful water, but it's a pretty quick river. So it's
that's up to 80.
Right? Yeah. The 80. If you just take the 80, you'll run up to, I believe, the South Fork that starts in like Truckee.
Yeah.
But the fun part to swim in is further down the hill, so like Grass Valley, Nevada City area.
Yep. Okay.
Bridgeport, actually, that's a good spot for the kids.
I've never been to Bridgeport.
Just Google Bridgeport, dude. It's a good little it's a state park. So Bridgeport is it's this covered bridge. It's all wood. They built it in I think the late 1800s. They were it was one of the main ways that miners would get up to like North San Juan and Allegheny, some of these big spots for mining, and they were hydraulic mining, which became illegal. And so one of the first long distance telephone lines was installed down there, so that when people the government would come to inspect these mines, they would call ahead and say, hey, shut the water off and get out of there, type of a thing. So,
Smart.
Yeah. But it's a beautiful little area, dude. You should go check it out. In the summer, it's a great place to go swim.
That's the thing. Yeah, Northern California, there's so many places like that are to explore, that are outdoors, like talking about.
Where do you like to go?
I don't do it enough.
Yeah.
But like Auburn has enough to just get out and go for runs. I've done a bunch of, not a bunch, but a handful. They have like trail runs that they'll do. Like Auburn will put them on, Folsom will put them on.
Yeah.
So it's more like closer to the Sacramento area. But even just going to do that for a Saturday or Sunday morning, like that's fun. Yeah. And then with the kids too, like throw one of them in the backpack, and my 3-year-old he'll walk around a little bit more, but we don't do it as much as we should.
Yeah.
But it's like that's our backyard out there.
For sure. Mm-hmm. Well, the other thing, if you go a little bit further, so Auburn's just south of Nevada City, Grass Valley.
Yep.
Those towns are even like Auburn's cool. It's got that kind of Victorian vibe to it a little bit, but the Nevada City, Grass Valley are that to the max. So like they're just really like cute little towns with like cool shops and stuff. Like real friendly for a family visit, So
yeah, and that's where
up and see them, man.
I think Auburn's where the Western States or the Western 100, one of the ultra races, the original 100 miler.
Yep.
And I forget the history of the trail. Maybe it's at the tail end of. I forget the history of it, but historically, I think it's the first 100-mile ultra that has been run, and it either starts or ends in Auburn. So I know the city like really rallies around that. Like that's a huge part of the year, every year in Auburn.
Yeah, I think they start there and they run up to like Truckee or something like that, and then come back down or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe they start in Truckee and go down.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, that's rad. So are you liking Sacramento though overall? Pretty good spot to live, or?
It's I miss Arizona.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, Sacramento's good because we lived in Arizona, went to school, moved to Phoenix a couple of years, and then at the same time, our jobs took us to Chicago, and so we were there for 4 years, which is awesome. And then that was kind of running its course. We wanted to start a family, and it was either Sacramento or Sacramento by her family, or Arizona by mine. And for a handful of reasons, including like work, Sacramento made sense at that time.
Right.
And it's great, man. We got a ton of family, her family. We get a ton of help just with the kids now that we have kids. And then, yeah, there's a lot to explore there. So yeah, it's a good place.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as much trash talk as we have about California, it's a beautiful place, of course. So
Yeah.
you got a good living situation, but we still want you back in Arizona. So, is that ever going to happen? What do you think?
Hopefully, I don't know. I mean,
put you on the spot. Sorry,
Yeah,
Katie.
Sounds like he's putting down roots pretty hard in Sacramento, man.
no, I mean, like, it's crazy because it's been 5 years that we've been there. It's been almost a decade that we've been out of Arizona. And, like Katie, my wife, Katie and I, we always talk about nothing's permanent. So there's always options open. I think the past year and a half has anchored us there a little bit more with my daughter's care. She has her health care, which is at Stanford. That keeps us anchored there pretty well. So the timeline and idea of moving, it's like we're just not in that season of it right now.
Yeah, you got a lot going on, and you don't have to go too deep into it, but Chad's one of the strongest people I know in terms of just everything in life. Physically he's pretty strong, but mostly emotionally, mentally, the things he's gone through with his family. If you want to kind of give us a little rundown of that, just what you've been through, just because between you and Katie, your wife, it's amazing seeing how strong you guys are with everything you're dealing with.
Yeah. So I have a 3-year-old son named Jack, and then our daughter, 1-year-old little girl named Emma. So she was born with multiple congenital heart defects, and we learned about it luckily when Katie was 21 weeks. So hard to find out about it, but we were lucky that we actually found out about it prior to Emma being born. And so just ever since then, it's just been a journey of heart surgeries, hospital stays, uncertainties, and just the up and down over the past, she's 15 months now, of just not really knowing what's going on, how her health is going to progress. How she's doing this week doesn't necessarily mean that she's going to be doing the same the following week or the following month. And it's been a crazy year, but being in Sacramento, you don't always understand sometimes why you end up in certain places.
Sure, yeah.
And even during the pandemic, like we were talking about, maybe now's the time to go back to Arizona, maybe not. But I think like God works in very deliberate ways, and I think being in Northern California next to some of the premier pediatric cardiology practices is like a gift that we don't really realize, but now it's like that's one of the main reasons we're there. So
yeah.
But yeah, the past year and some months has just been like focusing on her care, focusing on also having a 3-year-old, giving him like a normal experience, going back and forth 3.5 hours away to Stanford. And, but she's doing really good right now, and it's just something she'll live with her whole life, and we'll live with. And we just kind of take advantage of this when the good times are good, which right now we're definitely one of those good times. So
I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah.
Thanks,
man.
And
you're always checking in on me, and you're always asking about Katie too, which I appreciate the hell out of, because it's just funny, dude. My mind always goes back to in Gilbert when we lived together for a very short stint, but we got the Gilbert house. Katie moved in with me. Then you got a job up in Phoenix, and we were like, dude, come stay with us.
Yeah.
And those 3 or 4 months or however long that was so fun because we got to hang out every day after work. And then I got to watch you and Katie argue every night about whatever topic it was because you're two of the most like opinionated in a good way and like very rooted in your stances and your thoughts. And those are the days that I miss.
Yeah.
So
well, we can have more of those days.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's always great to come visit you, so appreciate it.
Yeah, dude. Well, and you come visit me. I mean, I'm very grateful for the trips you come out and visit me. So the last one was around a Wildcats game, which didn't work out well, but just on a whim, booking a flight and coming on out for a day and a half. And it was like, dude, it's just, I love that, that you're able to make that happen. So it means a lot. Yeah,
I appreciate it. Well, it's great. Well, you know what? We share a lot of things. Yeah, obviously we've known each other for so long, but one of the things we share that we both are passionate about, of course, jiu-jitsu is the topic of our the Banya podcast a lot. So I want to hear kind of what got you into jiu-jitsu now that you're a blue belt and been doing it for a few years now.
Probably like how, I mean, a lot of exposure through, I've been listening to Joe Rogan for years, and that's always piqued interest. And it's kind of like when you start trying to find like the right fit, the right gym, what's the community and culture like. And I've never done a martial art, and so it's very like foreign territory. But I always told myself if it came up in conversation or just organically, if there was an opportunity, I would explore it, because my research on my own wasn't really leading me anywhere to a specific gym. So I'm in this golf league in Sacramento, and I get paired up with this guy named Adam, and Adam's got both of his ears cauliflowered. And I'm like, this is great. Once I get to know him, I'm going to ask what kind of training he does, because that's a dead giveaway. And so I asked him just what kind of training he does, and he said all sorts of mixed martial arts. And I said, does that include jiu-jitsu? And he said, yeah. I said, that's great. I'm interested in doing that, but I haven't been able to just like commit to and find a gym. He goes, oh, mate, he's from Sydney. He's like, oh, mate, I got you covered. And he recommended the husband and wife that I was telling you about, Luke, that are the owners of the gym that I go to called Precision Jiu-Jitsu in Citrus Heights. And he's like, oh, dude, I'll send him a text. You text me when you want to go in. I'll have him set it up and let him know. His name's Chad, the owner, Chad and Sarah, that you're coming in. And that's just kind of how it started. And like, I'm very grateful that Adam did that, because that's just kind of what started the next 2.5 years of training. And like you guys know, it's a community and the people that you train with that makes the experience as well.
100%.
Like, one of the big things is you're taking care of one another in a training environment, and making sure that you're doing it safely, learning from each other. There's a huge camaraderie aspect there, and I feel very lucky that like I found the gym I found, Precision, on the first go around. So shout out to Adam. And
what's your training time slot?
So typically I do Monday nights. The time is bounced around a little bit, but 5:30 p.m. fundamentals class. And then there's like an ad hoc 8 a.m. Saturday morning that I go to. Most of the times that are offered are at night, right between like bedtime and bath time. And that's always hard. I'm like,
they don't have any 6 a.m.s for you?
So they've got 2 no-gis at 6:30 a.m. Wednesday, Thursdays. And if there's a gi mixed in the mornings, I don't know about it. But even that time, it's kind of hard coming back and getting set up for work with the distance from the gym. But the night times are kind of difficult, because I'm like grabbing my bag and walking out the door while my wife and 2 kids are like sitting down for dinner or having a bath. I'm like, So that's why I limit it to the one day a week on Monday nights and then Saturday mornings.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah. And so when I miss any of those, it's like that's a pretty big deal, you know, because on a good month I get to train 6 to 8 times a month. On a not so good month, it's nowhere near that. And then just with the up and down of my daughter's care too, and just family stuff in general, it's been hard to be consistent. But
yeah,
just try and go when I can.
Absolutely, keep going.
Yeah.
You've been off the mats for a little bit recently though, yeah.
On and off, but yeah, I got hurt in September.
Right before your first competition ever.
Yes.
Okay. So trying to rehab that and get healthy. Was thinking about this earlier. Something I did because there was a little elbow injury. Is there's this thing called a TheraBand flex bar, where it's like a rubber bar. You grip it with both hands, kind of in front of you, and then you twist it with your arm. So basically, the resistance is all the twisting in opposite direction with your hand.
Yeah.
But that's worked really well for forearm strength, for elbow. We recommend that.
It cures like tennis elbow.
Yeah, it's like a tennis elbow thing, which may help in terms of like the strengthening of those little muscles that you possibly tweak. So I'll send you the link on that. But
how'd you find out about that?
Actually, my coach, Chaaaaad, the Gray Wolf, he showed me, and I bought that when I was it was the same thing, arm bar, just a little overextended, and I got weird asymmetrical arms where one of my arms doesn't bend all the way straight. It's a little odd.
I think the right one's way buffer than the left.
It might be. Yeah. That's probably all it is. My right arm is just asymmetrical.
Wait, it's always been asymmetrical, or since this incident?
No, as far as I know, my right arm, like I can't extend it as straight. If I lay it down on a table, you can see it. It's weird. Right. It's like a little bit up. So, but yeah, it's that's not going to be fixed. I don't think, but at least with the pain in the tendons and muscles, that TheraBand flex bar has helped tremendously. So anytime I start feeling that, I pull that thing out and do a few exercises, and for that week I'll be fine. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, I'm doing a little bit of PT right now, and it took a while to even go have it looked at, but had a specialist look at it this week, and he didn't seem to be too concerned about it, but we're going to verify that with some advanced imaging just to make sure.
Yeah, that's smart.
Because when it happened, I heard a pop.
Ooh.
And he heard a pop.
Ooh.
It was one of those, like, he let go, and he's like, yeah, well, I heard a pop. Did you hear that? And I was like, yeah, dude, I heard that. Quit yanking on me. and kind of a freak accident, too, because ever since I started, I have no shame about, like, even if people are close, I'm giving them a tap, and they'll be like, oh, did I have you? I was like, you were close enough. I don't want to get hurt, you know? Like,
yeah.
And so even getting hurt when I'm pretty cautious about it was pretty frustrating. But, here we are. I could sit on the couch and never get hurt and wouldn't really be experiencing life. So
That's right. You're choosing your hard. We'll plug it here with our little slogan. Choose your hard, otherwise life's going to choose it for you. So
we need to figure out who we stole that from.
Yeah, we do. They're going to call us up one day.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
But
hello, is this the Banya?
Yeah. Well, keep rehabbing it, get back to it.
Or you just go the route of Udi, the Viking Neanderthal guy, He just had 12 to 15 broken bones, and he just kept going.
Oh, this is the Ice Age
caveman.
The caveman you were talking about?
I think his name was Udi.
Yeah.
Utsi or something like that.
The scary thing with that, though, is just, like, then you begin compensating.
Mm-hmm.
Like compensating for injuries.
But do you remember what your wife told you?
Which part?
Everything. Everything's temporary.
She told me that?
Yeah, you just saying that about your living situation?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Nothing's
right.
Nothing's permanent.
Yeah, you're right. No.
And you're gonna die. And if you had 12 broken bones like Utsi, who cares?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, no, you're right.
Don't let those doctors mess you up.
Dude, I think it's just the worry of, like, the pop, the pain, and the possibility of, like, a tear in a surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Well, stop worrying.
Dude, hop online for 5 minutes, and this was like 2 months after the fact, And it only took 3 or 4 minutes for me to be like, this is not healthy. I need to get off of this. And start reading about this.
Yeah, don't go down that rabbit hole.
You gotta make yourself a little dumber.
Yeah,
sometimes just to get through life, you know.
Well, you've managed to stay pretty healthy as long as I've ever known you. No serious injuries, so you're in good shape. Clearly, as you can see on the video here. What is jiu-jitsu the only thing you're doing, or what's been your kind of sports background lead up? What did you do growing up? Tell us about that.
Growing up was all the typical, quotes, typical boy sports. So like baseball, basketball.
Basketball, maybe. That's fine.
Played a little flag football in middle school
Okay.
and suffered a broken arm, I'll have you know, on a warm-up lap.
Perfect.
So that's the only like major injury. And then golf. So I grew up on we grew up on a golf course. And so I took to that pretty easily, which may have been a combination of I was a pretty late bloomer, and golf is one thing where you can kind of compensate with
technique.
Yeah, even if you're lacking like the physical gifts.
Sure.
So,
well, I can attest that Chad is a tier 1 for all of you listening from our friend group, tier 1 here. So Chad will be modest about it, but he's one of the better ones. So
what does tier 1 mean?
Oh, just we have tiers in our friend group for
we rank our friends based on how like great or not great they are on various aspects of their lives.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. So you could have tier. This is just the golf. There's many other tiers and different variations, but
yeah.
But
yeah,
got it.
I like to tell people I rode the bench at a terrible junior college. I rode the bench on a terrible golf team within the Tucson Junior College. So that, there you go. That's my skill level in
okay.
golf.
All right.
Should probably just not bring it up.
Yeah. But there's that, and then now, like pick up basketball every so often. Started weight training more. So I got into CrossFit in Phoenix when our friend group was like damning the whole idea of CrossFit because it was banging on our joints, because at that time a lot of our good friends were going through getting their doctorate of physical therapy, and they're like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. Chad, why are you doing that? Fast forward 9 years later, everyone's into CrossFit.
You did start that.
Yeah.
You were the originator for that.
Yeah, and then that kind of translated into more weightlifting. And then this year my wife and I started a tennis league, which was like just a way for her and I to spend a little bit of time together, and that's ended up being pretty fun. But I think training, golf, my softball league, and then weights. Like I have a little home gym in the garage, like just doing that, and running too. Like I've done a lot of running in the past, but the thing with running is it takes a lot of time to train endurance. And
did you do a marathon or a half marathon?
I've done 2 marathons.
Wow.
And then a few halves.
A runner. Yeah. You're not going to catch me doing marathons.
It's just a lot of time. I mean, you maybe have a little bit more time to train, but it's also,
I do.
It's not the most sexy thing to do. It's just running.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah.
No, that's why we do jiu-jitsu. Much sexier.
Yeah. And shorter time. You can get a whole heck of a lot better workout in 30 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'd say maybe take a quick little break here, get a cold dip.
Today,
Luke's
I had
dying here.
Hard day today.
Let's do it.
Chad looks like he's ready to go longer, but we'll take a quick dip and then come back in. All right, and we're back from a little cold dip.
Let me make my excuse real quick. I'm hurting today.
Oh yeah.
Had to drive a 25-year-old semi-truck up to Prescott today with no heater or air conditioning. Super loud. It's a dual 9-speed double clutch, so it's fun to drive, but you dialed in the whole time, so like mentally it's exhausting on like a trip like that. And everything would have been good and gravy, but had a blown out tire on my trailer, and so I had to wait for the big strong man to come and save me, which took about an hour and a half, 2 hours by the time he put it back on there. So pulled up late to the pod, dehydrated and tired, so not my strongest sauna abilities, Chad, today.
What was the tire changing experience like? Was this person courteous? Was this person Just as mad to be there as you were?
No, he was making money. No, very nice gentleman. Only spoke Spanish, so we were chopping it up. But yeah, no, it was fun. It was fun to watch him get the tire off and put a new one back on. But I had no idea they did it like this. Actually, they've got this machine. This is probably more for roadside, right? So he takes the old tire off. He slides a new one on. Doesn't even have to jack up anything. And it's a tandem axle trailer, so it's got 8 wheels on it. Mm-hmm. And so he slides a new one off. He starts pumping air into the valve, and then he's got this like giant like metal. It looks like a propane tank, but it's got like this awkward like beak coming out of it, and he pulls the trigger on it, and it just like explodes air into the wheel well, and it's supposed to like set the tire to the point where then the air pressure starts to fill it up. It's like, and he like was like freaking out every time he had to do it. Like it took him like 5 times to get it right, and every time he was like he'd like almost drop this thing. It looked super. Not high tech. Like it's kind of like, who the hell designed this setup? Yeah. Anyways, no, that was all fine. It's just my phone died, so I was super bored too. You know, that's the worst. You know, you get stuck anywhere without a phone these days.
Just left with your thoughts.
Yeah, not good, dude. Scary. Not good, Chad.
It could be scary. I can relate.
Anyways, we'll put today behind us.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, it's the weekend now, so. There you go.
Not having the phone, though, like, I was just reflecting sitting out here, you getting the fire going, Dana getting the fire going, and just kind of hanging out before hopping in here. The amount of time I've recently just sat, like, quiet, you know, like, I don't do it a lot, you know, so even just that was, like, a little bit of a reprieve and nice little time to...
Yeah, well, that's...
Phone away, no kids, like...
That's a good setting right there, though. The side of the I-17. I mean... If anybody needs a phone, in that moment, you're bored out of your mind, for sure.
Yeah, very different setting.
Out by the fire with, no kids around you. Yeah. Throw that phone away.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, well, what else, Chad? What you got cooking? What's on the horizon?
What is on the horizon?
We got the holidays coming up.
We got a basketball game tomorrow, which is one of the reasons I'm out here celebrating Dana's birthday. So Dana's got a birthday tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And
Happy birthday, dude.
Well,
37?
37.
Nice. Yeah. Heck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
36. No.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you guys are turning 37. I'm turning 36. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Come on, young blood.
No, dude, you lose track after a certain age, you know?
Yeah, I feel 26, so that's what matters.
Dana's in the best shape of his life. Dana's never been better.
Hey, body by jiu-jitsu.
Dude, that's what's up, man. Yeah. Grappler's bod.
Yeah.
Actually, kind of speaking of that, Chad, you were one of the first people that, like, really was dialing in health and awareness of that. I mean, I think... You were also one of the first to like really get into podcasts a lot. Like, tell us what was your kind of, how'd you start looking into health and things like that and being healthy? What do you think about it?
I think the main thing is I don't have a sweet tooth, and my taste buds are pretty bland. So the idea of eating the same thing, whether it's healthy or eating the same thing that some may claim is not like. That's not fun, and I need a little bit more flavor, or this doesn't taste a certain way. That's never bothered me. It's just food is fuel.
Yeah.
And I remember very specifically.
You Finnish? What's your background? You're Irish?
Scottish and
Irish.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there you go.
Yeah. And I remember very distinctly, actually, I appreciate the compliment, which I don't necessarily put me in that category, but if you compare yourself to like the majority, it doesn't take much to be physically fit or health conscious, but I do appreciate the call out. Probably doing CrossFit for the time that I was doing more CrossFit, I remember very consciously understanding different meals made me feel different types of full.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like a gross full, and I don't want to do anything after this. Versus I can eat, 1.5 to 2 times of what I just ate, but good meats or good carbs or good fats, and like I can keep going. Like a good full is what I describe it as. And I remember feeling that, being like, oh, that's different, and I think that's kind of the motivation. Also, my wife is Katie is like super health conscious and does an amazing job of being like, that's garbage, don't eat that. I'd recommend this, like we're eating this, and so that makes it pretty easy, and also is pretty sweet that we get to kind of introduce that to our kids too. Like we're doing cookie decorating right now, all the holidays, and like my 3-year-old, he doesn't even know he can have a bite of stuff, and that's like the proudest thing for me. It just just don't touch that right now. Maybe down the road you'll get into it. But yeah, I think honestly just having terrible taste buds has been like the biggest thing.
Well, not having a sweet tooth is incredible.
Yeah.
I am a victim of a very strong sweet tooth, so
it's like a drug, right? Like
absolutely.
Like it's hard to break.
Uh-huh.
I can't relate, but I feel for people that have that itch.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think what you said about your CrossFit experience is the same thing with Jiu-Jitsu. Like, you can't eat like a piece of shit and then go in and train.
Yeah.
Like, it just, I'm sure people do that, and that sounds horrible. And, I mean, so, like, that's been, I've always eaten, like, pretty healthy, but, like, doing Jiu-Jitsu all the time has made me, like you said, you dial in, like, how does your body actually feel and respond to certain foods, and you just can't take those risks when you got, Dana shoving a knee in your stomach at 6 a.m. It just doesn't work.
You need every advantage you can get.
Yeah, I mean, I can echo that. I definitely changed when, you'd eat a burger for lunch and you go to train at 6 o'clock and it's 6 hours later and you're still feeling that burger. It's like, oh, I can't be doing this anymore. So...
yeah, it's just sitting in your belly, and it's a different... I think once you're aware of that feeling, perspectives can change a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of people don't feel that. Like, they don't experience that.
Mm-hmm. Well, and just a reset on your body, your gut microbiome, where you can actually feel healthy. Like, some people just don't have that feeling because most people have chronic inflammation like all the time, and you don't realize what that is until you do some kind of a detox or whatever.
So I haven't had alcohol in a while, and last night I had like the equivalent of like 2 shots of tequila, and like literally my back started to hurt, like it almost immediately, dude. And like I remember this feeling from when, like, it's not like I was drinking like crazy, but when I drank regularly, like I felt that like a bone ache almost. It's wild, dude. It's just like after just a couple of little drinks, I was like, ooh. Yeah.
Well, with Luke, growing up doing wrestling and at the level that you've done it at, was like weight and dialing that in and nutrition, was that a huge part of like,
it was
early growing up for
Unfortunately, though, it was like a lot of bad advice. Honestly, even through college, like that is like kind of one of those things that the coaches and parents kind of went like, deal with it, for the most part. They're obviously, it's just, I feel like in general, like, I'm talking, when I was a kid, we're talking 20 plus years ago that I was competing. It's like what we thought was healthy then is not what we know now to be the case,
right?
And I always laugh, like, if you watch like Seinfeld, he's sitting there like, oh, I don't want to eat meat because I'm a healthy person. He's like trash talking like real food, and then he's eating like a bowl of cereal that's got non-fat milk in it, like, oh, because that's healthy, right?
Right.
And that's like where, I mean, that's kind of where I was in like my nutrition, unfortunately, pretty much through my entire career, even at Purdue. If I could redo one thing, it would be that for sure. Like, just going back and knowing what we know now, just about how simple your diet should be, right? Like all this other stuff, like you just eat real food. I mean, And then supplementing, like I didn't like protein shakes or like I didn't do any of that stuff, unfortunately.
Creatine, collagen.
Yep, didn't do anything, dude. Just,
Yeah.
But they kind of scare the shit out of you, like the NCAA and like all that. Like they're harsh on drug testing, especially if you're like a varsity guy. Like you're going to get drug tested multiple times. Like if you win a good tournament, like after Big Tens, I got like third there, and like we're all peeing in cups and like doing that thing, and it's like tainted supplements were a thing even then, like the GNC stuff, and so it was something that they put the fear of God in you, about. So a lot of wrestlers didn't mess with anything. Like, what's his name? That Bo Nickel. He was on Rogan. He kind of explained it nicely, where he was like, "Yeah, it's just not part of the American culture to do that stuff." I mean, obviously there's exceptions, but for sure, like most American wrestlers are not doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, just the availability of information on how bad the food is that is advertised as good and vice versa. That's just taking a total turn.
Scariest thing to me ever. Like, is just how we're basically just being poisoned, at every corner.
Oh, without a doubt.
The worst.
Well, there's so much info now, it's hard to sift through, but at least it's more readily available, and education's the big thing. Is you got to educate yourself on what's good for you, and not everybody can eat the same thing. There's different things. Test things out, see what's going to work for you, but sticking with whole foods, single ingredient foods, non-processed, it's not really a bad route to go.
Yeah, and everybody's body responds differently.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Chad,
sign off?
This has been, I think maybe we'll sign off. This has been great. Really appreciate you coming in. Want to say thank you to all the listeners as well. We love and appreciate all the support. Luke just told me today that we've gone international. We've got a listener from Mexico and Canada, so thank you to our Canadian and Mexican friends. We appreciate it. Gracias.
And thank you.
What's merci? Merci if they're French.
Let's assume it's a
French Canadian. Yeah.
For sure it's that.
Yeah, gotta be.
I put all my money on that.
So,
or you go, oh, thanks. Oh, hey, thanks for listening. Hey.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
Both sides there. Hey.
Well, thank you again, Chad. And we really appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, Chad. How's this Banya treating you, dude? I'm dying to do
it,
man.
I'm. The expectations were set that it's typically 180.
You were worried about it, but you seem to be doing the best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just it's like. You don't want to overindulge in something that you don't do often.
Correct.
Like I don't sauna really ever, even though I want to do it more. So it's just that it's like slow ramp. And you guys spend you sleep in here, right?
Basically.
So, we're not on the same level.
We're gonna do some paperwork in here after this.
Yeah.
New release form.
Yeah. Well, we hit just under 170, so we cranked it up by about 20 degrees from where we started. So. Nice work, Chad. And
proud of you, Chad. Thanks for not farting in the sauna.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
You didn't break the rule that we didn't tell you about.
That's poor form.
Yeah, it is. But we got to tell people because they're out there.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Appreciate it, Chad. Thank you again.
Yeah. Thanks.
Signing off.
Bye, everybody.
Peace.